So in the last segment that we put on from the Mei HaShiloach, the Lo Tzkitomar Bilavavcha, Rabim Agoyim Ma'ele, if you say in your hearts that these other nations are much mightier than I, how? Lo Yuchal, Lo Tiramehem, don't fear them. You say, how am I going to throw them out? How am I going to drive out these other nations, the Canaanites and the Amorites and the Hittites? There were a bunch of nations who were sacrificing their children and involved in all kinds of reprehensible behavior with worshipping idols and so forth. And they were very strong. The spies came back and said, we look like grasshoppers in their eyes. Don't fear them. Yeah, like I walk out, they're giants with big clubs here. I come up to their knees. They're throwing their children into the fire and serving God, and they don't care about life. They'll come out in the war and they'll be suicide bombers. So the Mei HaShiloach says, ask the question, how can you not fear something that's out of your control? How can God ask us not to fear something that's totally out of our control, because it's the most natural thing in the world to fear something that's totally out of our control? So then he talks about what's in your heart. If you say so the question is, what is in the heart of a Jew? In the heart of a Jew, there's fear. But is it an illusory fear, or is it a real fear? Really, God's running the world. And God told Moshe, don't fear them. We're gonna be able to drive them out. He gave us a commandment, and God never gives a commandment that's impossible. Everything that God asks you to do, you have the ability to do. Don't fear them. In 1967, or maybe it was 1948, in one of the great Israeli wars, in Sdei Eliyahu in the north, they realized that the Jordanians, they had intelligence, information that the Jordanian army that was about to attack outnumbered them by 10 to 1, 20 to 1, something like that. Impossible odds to win a war, right? So one brilliant member of the kibbutz had the idea that the night before they were expecting the attack, they had 3 trucks, no tanks, and they were going to be decimated. So he took those 3 trucks and he put turn on your lights and go down the dirt path. And there's another dirt path half a mile away. We're going to take one truck down slowly, another truck down slowly. And you're going to be able to get around in time. So the next truck that comes down, you have trucks already going up that the Jordanians can't see because the lights are off. Your lights are on going down the hill, the lights are off going up the back road. So there's a constant loop of lights of the trucks. So the Jordanians look to their binoculars and they see a constant flow of trucks going down the hill. The Jordanians called off the attack. They said they have thousands of soldiers down there all night. They were bringing trucks and supplies. They know about us. Don't even bother. And it worked. Now, if this is a physical fear, that we know physically that they're stronger than us, but we could still actually win the battle. You look at David and Goliath. Size isn't everything. A big, huge, strong guy, could make mincemeat out of you. But a little guy, this little tiny guy, can come up and you can step on his foot and it can cause him tremendous pain. It's a question of bravery and belief. So the question we have was, what are these mitzvahs? He says, you know what's in a person's heart by the mitzvahs they do. If a person could rule over somebody else but doesn't, that's one example he gives. The other example was if he adorns a mitzvah. Now what do these have to do with the example of not fearing illusion? Meaning that that God told us that we could drive them out. We can drive them out. We shouldn't fear. So there's some sort of an illusory fear in the heart. You have to get beyond that level of illusion and into reality. And one is when we know we're not supposed to rule over somebody else, we don't do it. That shows we fear God. If we spend more on the mitzvot, if we spend more time and energy and money on adorning the mitzvot, buy a lot of food for Shabbat, cook it, spend a lot of time cooking it, make an exquisite meal, so the best meal you have all week is for Shabbat. That shows your love of God. So this is showing what's in a person's heart. So the question we ask is, it says, this seems to contradict the words of the Gemara. The Gemara says that one of the 7 things that's hidden from man is knowing what's in a friend's heart. So how could it be that the Torah, that the Mei HaShiloach says you know what's in a person's heart by the mitzvahs he does? I thought you couldn't know what's in a person's heart. When the Gemara is speaking, he's talking about something much deeper. The Gemara is talking about there's a level irrespective of a person's actions. The soul of a Jew, the neshama of a Jew was created before the Torah was created and before the world was created. The neshama of the Jew is an emanation flowing from God. So the neshama is, you can't know this level of neshama. It's beyond. You never know based on a person's actions. In other words, you could see somebody who's the biggest, most evil man. He's a liar, he's a rapist, he's a murderer, he's a cheat, he's a killer. But he has the neshama of a Jew. And maybe he should be locked up in jail. There's some people, dangerous people, should be locked up. But deep inside, he's not evil. He may need to be punished, incarcerated, or even killed. But deep inside, there's a place where you're never going to know, and that's called the neshama of a Jew. And he's just the same as the biggest tzaddik in that respect. That's the neshama of a Jew. That's what the Gemara is talking about. That's what you'll never know. But you can know what's in an outer level of a person's heart by their actions and their speech. So there's something else in the heart of a Jew. It's called tekifus. Tekifus is that godly power of not holding back and knowing that God is wanting you to do something. So when the prime example of tekifus is the first man, Adam. He was the very handiwork of God. So when his wife told him to eat from the fruit, he had the tekifus to go ahead and do it. He had the strength. It comes from the word for hatkafa, for seasons, and that the seasons come with strength. Or the word for attack, hatkafa, tekifus, to matkif. There's a time when the attack is going to come. So don't look at the size of the other nations. Don't look at the impulsibility of the situation. Just look at the Ribbono Shel Olam. Put your eyes heavenwards. Look deep into your heart. Beyond the illusion. Beyond the illusion says that I can't do it. And you say, where's that holy tekifus? That holy power of just not holding back. That holy power that's beyond choice. Tekifus is a level beyond choice. There's choice, that's the outside of the heart. There's tekifus, that power, holy power of not holding back, that's on the inside of the heart. And that's connected to the neshama of a Jew. And if you can get beyond that, then if you have the Torah, and you know what's written in the Torah, and you know that God never made a mitzvah that was impossible. Every mitzvah that He gave to all of Israel is possible, and you can go ahead and do it. And if He says, drive out the 7 nations, then you can go ahead and drive out those 7 nations, and you will succeed.